We do want to bring in now Joel Rubin, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under the Obama administration. Joel, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here.
It's great to be with you, Natasha.
The Israeli Defense Forces call this ground invasion the second stage of the war. What can we expect in this second stage? How will it be different from the first?
Well, what this stage is all about is getting on the ground inside of Gaza. And that doesn't mean a full-on, massive, complete invasion. But it does mean now, after several weeks of bombing by the Israeli Air Force, that they now feel confident that when ground forces go into Gaza, they are somewhat protected. And that means that they have attacked and destroyed targets, tunnel areas, weapons depots, areas that they were concerned could be threats to an invading force. So this is going to be methodical. And the way the Israelis have continued to describe this is that it's going to have to go patiently forward to eradicate Hamas's military fighting capabilities. And so that's where they're starting right now, patiently injecting themselves into the Gaza and not overwhelming it right now with an invasion force.
What does the second stage mean for the more than 200 hostages being held by Hamas? With this escalation, are they more or less likely to be released?
It's getting really intense right now on that question. Without a doubt, the interlocutors, those who are trying to get them freed, in particular the government of Qatar, who is speaking directly to Hamas and coordinating with Israel as well, they are now on the hot seat. And now that the pressure is on and that the invading forces are in Gaza, the fear is that these individuals will be used not just as human shields, but that they may be used in a manner of propaganda, potentially murders and things that are very deplorable and hard to talk about, quite frankly. But this kind of pressure, clearly Israel looks at it as an opportunity to get the hostages out, potentially for a humanitarian pause, to try to be responsive to some of the demands that are coming from the Palestinian side.
Now, Israel says it believes a Hamas military base is situated underneath Gaza's largest hospital.
Yeah.
Hamas denies this. 60,000 people are sheltering there. And Israel seems to be intimating that a strike on it would not violate international law. This is complicated, but how would Israel access this without civilian casualties? What's your read on the situation?
It's nearly impossible to access that area without civilian casualties. The question then is, how would it be accessed? If Israel is confident, as it appears the government is, that there are military bases and assets and bunkers underneath the hospital, which by in and of itself is a violation of international norms and international law. But that said, if that is the case, Israel understands that it has to be very careful and that it cannot just bomb from the sky. And that's why this is so dangerous. And this is why the government of Israel has been calling for civilians to leave. But ultimately, this is going to become probably one of the core, most difficult battles when Israel gets through some of the broader, more open areas in urban areas and cities and gets into the bases that they think Hamas is hiding out in.
One more question for you, Joel, on a potential ceasefire. The UN Secretary General called for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war.
Yes.
Israel's UN ambassador responded by calling for the Secretary General's resignation. Is it safe to say that any calls for a ceasefire are going to be dismissed or just ignored by Israel at this point?
There's only one country that matters in this call, and that's the United States. Israel is not going to pay attention to the United Nations and what it calls for. From the Israeli perspective, the United Nations does not support it and has not supported it when it engages in these types of counter-terror operations and more broadly speaking. So that's just the Israeli perspective. I think we could argue about the certain parts of it, but at the end of the day, it's really up to the United States to push Israel into a ceasefire if it chooses to. And if President Biden wants to go down that road, no other country, no other entity is going to make a difference on Israeli thinking.
Okay, Joel Rubin, appreciate the context and time. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.